Yo, we're back. My man Sweeney. We got Iowa State's undefeated. Can you believe it? Let's go. JR, what up, man? How you doing? Thanks for joining us.
B, what's up, my man? Good to have you. Kevin, what's up, man?
Appreciate you hopping on. Appreciate you hopping on.
So let's just talk about the transition, right? You go from Mountain West, Colorado State, they're still winning, so you're used to winning. Go from Drake before that, you're used to winning. Won a D3 national championship. Don't think I forgot. Used to winning. Okay. Coach comes from UNLV in the league. You guys knew each other, childhood friends. Tell a little bit of that, and then you guys come together. Nobody thought Iowa State was going to be any good. Nobody. I don't even think the Iowa State fans thought you were going to be good. so, so the staff thinks you're going to be good, but you probably didn't even think you'd be this good at this point. Take us through that if you don't mind.
Yeah, coming from Colorado State, obviously those guys are nationally ranked now, and a program that, as we had started to build it up, you could see that those guys had the potential to be a top 25 team. And, TJ gets the job at Iowa State, and TJ and I are both from Milwaukee. And man, it was a tough decision, but a decision that Nico and I had to sit down and talk about after the season. And, he just asked me if I believed in TJ and his vision, and if so, that he would support me joining that staff. And that's what I was able to do. And man, we get here, we got to work in the summer in June, and we had a bunch of transfers and one freshman point guard. So, there's a lot of uncertainty, but there was a lot of promise. Um, those transfers are low ego, hard-working guys: Gabe Kelstra, Isaiah Brockington, Jazz Kunch, to name a few. And then Tyrese Hunter's a special player, as a point guard, as a freshman. The things that he's able to do and the maturity level that he has is, somebody of an upperclassman, and all that's kind of gelled. And the reality is we play really hard, we defend, we rebound. And we're starting to try to take care of the basketball better and just get quality possessions, and it's been working out for us so far.
Yeah, what was the moment before I pass it to Kevin? What was the moment where like you felt like we're gonna actually be all right? Wait a minute, we're gonna actually be good. Like, what was that moment? You remember that?
Yeah, I think I know Kevin's a Wildcat, and we scrimmaged Northwestern, um, right before the one of our first games, and we went there and we played well. We scrimmaged them in the Quad Cities, and we played pretty well. And we knew Northwestern had a talented group coming back, and we were kind of like, man, maybe we got a chance, maybe we got a chance. And then, I mean, our first game against Kennesaw State, who came in and played hard, it was wire to wire. Like, it wasn't like we blew them out. And when we went to the Barclays Center and beat Xavier in Memphis, in the preseason NIT, it kind of put the nation on notice, but it also gave our guys a paddle, a platform for some confidence, man. And I think that we've just kind of kept that going, and it's just been about our daily habits since then.
Yeah, Kev, I'll let you take
Yeah,
the
talk to me about your defense. I mean, it's been so critical to your success. I mean, you just won a game this weekend. We scored 47 points. Like that's not easy to do, but this defense has been special. Do you think the defensive success has been kind of about the effort and the chip on the shoulder that these guys have coming picked last, and some of the guys are transfers that didn't win at their previous stops and just trying to find that spot, or is it a schematic thing? Is it both? Like, talk me through why you guys have been so successful on that end of the floor.
I think that's just one of the major points of emphasis that TJ has instilled in these guys from when we got here in June. It's like we're gonna be great defensively. We're gonna pressure the basketball. We're gonna rebound and be great in that area. And then offensively, we're just gonna try to take care of the basketball. So, we come in and it's not a schematic thing. Myself and Coach Kyle Green are on the defensive side of things, and like you said, it's about playing hard. It's an effort thing. It's the fact that our guys know that if we get stops, we can create offense with our defense, and that's how we get out and run and play fast. And like you said, we won a game scoring 47 points. We beat another team when we shot 1 for 20 from three. We know that we're not going to come out and just score 90 on teams and do that. Now, we've had some good shooting nights, but if we just keep getting stops, we know that the game will come to us. And I think our guys have bought into that. And And those older guys, the older transfers, know that there's ebbs and flows in the game, but they know that on that defensive end, if they get that done, that we have a chance to win.
And your freshman point guard, you mentioned him earlier, Tyrese Hunter. He's a special kid. When you first got to work with him this summer, the first few workouts, was there an early moment where you're like, man, this kid is special. This kid's better than I even anticipated.
It's funny because I was recruiting Tyrese when I was at Colorado State, kind of before he really blew up. Like when he was a sophomore, his high school coach went to college with my wife. Um, so I had some connections, and I worked at Wisconsin Stevens Point, and Nick Bennett, his high school coach, his father, and had been a coach there and all that. So there was a lot of connections, and getting to know Tyrese when he got there, you start to know that he's somebody that just wants to work and constantly wants extra and wants more. So it was a accumulation of a lot of different workouts and a lot of time with him. But he's somebody that's he's a special kid. Whether he turns the ball over or he dunks on somebody, guy doesn't really change his emotions. He's really even kill, and um, you wouldn't know he was 18 years old. And I mean, he just turned 18 in August too. So he's very young for his age, and he's just very special and somebody that wants to be great.
Talk to me about the atmosphere in Ames on Thursday night. Iowa rivalry games, a special rivalry. I think one of the more kind of underrated rivalries in the country in terms of the energy and the fan bases. And obviously you hear about Hilton Magic all the time, but that was about as good as it gets. Can you talk about the fan base and what the response has been with this kind of incredible start you guys have had?
And what is the real Hilton Magic? You hear about it? What is that Hilton Magic, Jay?
It was cool, man, because Thursday, and our fans have honestly been great. We've been getting 8 to 10,000 every night, and obviously on Thursday it was a sellout with 14,500. But the fan base has been 100% backing us just because of how we play. I think they just want to see a team that gets out and plays with great effort. We're diving on loose balls. We're jumping in the stands. We're excited for one another. So I think they appreciate that, and that's been great for us. And then obviously winning games helps bring more fans at all times. Um, you know, on Thursday that was a special deal. I mean, you walk out there an hour and 20 minutes before the game, the whole student section is filled from the top row all the way to the bleachers up top, and by the time the game started, it was not an empty seat in the house. And it was funny because there was a sequence of we got a block, and then somebody made a three, and then we got a steal, and then Tyrese gets a dunk, and D-Rob, who's been there, just looked at me. It's like, man, this Hill Magic, bro. Like that's Hill Magic right there. Like, and it's just, you just force the other team to call a timeout. And it's like, man, that timeout's not going to help you. Like it's hope, and it's just something that just keeps going. But it was fun. And it was exciting to be around.
No doubt, no doubt. Talk about Coach, man. What is it about Coach? Obviously, you've known him. You coached against him in the Mountain West, so you saw that matchup. But what is it that makes him be able to take programs and just get there and bring his own version of magic and success?
Yeah, he's a special dude, man. We're very similar in that we're very regimented. I mean, like, I'm getting up at 5, he's getting up at 5. We work out, man. He eats the same thing for breakfast. My man drinks like 4 energy drinks per day. Like, he's just wired. Like, and it's funny because
do you, Coach?
I don't do the energy drinks. It's but like, our guys just feed off of his energy. Like, and he's not with this group. We've been very simple, but he's just like, man, these dudes take his mentality of just working hard, of just having the same daily habits, of just doing what we do and not worrying about, oh, what can we do if this? No, it's just like, do it harder, play harder, just out rebound them, go jump higher. Like everything is just very simple. And our team is like that, man. Like we're kind of like all our scouting reports are really the same. Whether it's Alabama State or Iowa, we didn't change much. It's just like this is what we're gonna do, and that's just kind of how TJ is, and he's instilled that mentality within everybody in the program.
Yeah, what do you think it is for the buy-in though so fast? I think it's the hardest part when you get a new job. Some guys were before. Obviously, you talked about all the guys you had to bring in, but where does the buy-in part come from so fast to 10-0? Again, you were at Colorado State. You helped build that program. You were in the trenches. They're now 10-0, but they have a lot of continuity. It didn't happen like this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not to say one's better than the other, but it just shows how hard it is to do it that fast.
Yeah, I think it becomes from our leaders. Isaiah Brockington, who was at Penn State, didn't really win a ton, wasn't ever number one option, just kind of comes in with a chip on his shoulder. Gabe Kelcher was at Minnesota, kind of the same thing, was more just a catch and shoot guy. Don't do this, don't do that, and give him a little freedom. And those guys, how they practice, and we practice 5-on-5 team practice for an hour from June when we got there, and just their habits. So then Tyrese is looking at it like, oh wait, this is how you practice, and he's looking at a fifth and a fourth year guy and seeing how hard they go, and then guys like George Condit who won a Big 12 championship as a freshman, and then was really has been a part of some not so good teams. He has a chip on his shoulder to get that back. So I think we have a bunch of guys that know what it takes, but that to speak of the buy-in is just, hey man, like we haven't had the success we wanted, so we're willing to do whatever it takes to change and listen to get to that point again.
All right, Kevin got one, and then I got funny story. We always got to end with a funny story. So get ready, okay?
So, what's the next challenge, right? Is you guys have been so good. Now there's all this expectation. You're, I think, 11th of the polls, and everybody's talking about how great you guys are. What is that challenge like of managing the egos and the expectations now of, and no longer being the hunter, but sort of the hunted in the college basketball landscape?
Yeah, Kevin, this is just about day by day, man, and it's cliche as it sounds. Like we're worried about Southeast Louisiana. We got a master finals this week, and take care of business with them, and then move on to the next opponent. And yeah, we just preach daily habits. After we beat Iowa, we absolutely we didn't say a single word about Iowa the next day because we had Jackson State coming up, and we knew we had to prepare those guys. And we got up. We practiced every morning at 7:30. We got up at 7:30, even though we had a late game versus Iowa. Did what we do, and it's just about us instilling those same habits, whether we're playing Southeast Louisiana or Baylor. Obviously the talent level has a huge disparity, but what we do won't change. So I think that's kind of how we approach all the, if you can say it, hoopla or hype or whatever somebody may have for us. For us, we're just the same guys that had a chip on their shoulder that they picked to finish last in the Big 12.
All right, so we got a girl dad here. I'm a girl dad extraordinaire. We got to do it together for a little bit during the pandemic.
Yes,
Good times here in Fort Collins back in the day last year. So give us a girl dad funny story. Now, we had Rod Clark on earlier. He talked about the spit up on his shirt, and he didn't know it was there. He was out there trying to groove it. I had to tell him about himself. So what you got for a girl dad story before you leave?
Oh man, there's so many.
I would Ryan getting cool to be a girl dad. So you're cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I don't even, if we're blessed to have another kid, I want another girl. Like I'm good to go. So
that's how it goes down. Kevin don't know about it. He'll learn one day.
Yeah, take your time, Kev. Take your time. Oh man, stories, man. So I think one of my most memorable ones would be, man, my oldest Maya. She was sick, and we to preface that, like we went to the neighbor's house, who you met, Dick and Lori, a nice older couple, and they made her apple pie and all this stuff. So she's eating. She had like 2 or 3 pieces, ice cream, the whole deal. So that night, she's like, "Man, my stomach's hurting," and we're like, "No, you're fine," and all this stuff. Well, fast forward 3 or 4 hours, she keep going in and out, and finally she just starts throwing up. And I'm like, oh man, like okay. So and Ash is like, is she okay? And I'm like, yeah, she's good. Like I'm trying to, what I'm saying, be the big guy and handle it. And then finally it just got to a point where I was like, man, this is too much. I go in and get my wife and I'm like, yo, it's an accident going on in here. And by the time she comes back to get me, I was already asleep. And she's like, yeah, I went back to get you and you went back to bed. I was like, man, at that point, I didn't know what to do. Like, so I was like, it's just time for me to go back. I tapped out. Like, I thought I had it for going because mine is usually my responsibility. It's just, that's it. Like, it's just, I didn't have enough. Like, I didn't have enough. So, and to this day, Maya will not eat apple pie. She won't even look at
it. She won't. You won't let her either.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you good on that.
I love it, man. I love it. JR, thanks for joining us, man. Congrats on that so far. I know you're not done. Keep it going, man. Keep enjoying it and keep that Hilton magic rolling.
I appreciate both of you guys, man.
All right. Appreciate you coming on.
All right, Jay. All right, we'll get the 1 minute breakdown from Kevin, and then we on to the next. What you got for us?
It's a heck of a basketball team. Like I said, they're not going to blow you away offensively, but the way they guard you, they're guarding at a high level. And the reason I asked him, kind of why you've been good defensively is I think a lot of it's just buy-in. I mean, yeah, they have good personnel, but those guys play really, really hard. They're 1,000% bought into playing on that defensive end. Not everybody is, and the teams that are, they tend to be pretty good. And then Iowa State team, they're pretty good for a reason.
Yeah, I love the part about college basketball where more coaches get to take ownership. You heard him say him and another coach the defense. I love that part of it because it's not just about the head coach. You hear so much about a head coach, but you have to have that staff. Yes, you have to have buy-in, but your staff is important, and JR is as good as it gets. So on to the next. We out. See you guys soon.